season 1 and season color, the bookmark. But this is
ありがとうございます。
Every lesson, I was like, oh, this is your work. So I'm just doing it, and then come round at the end and get it all out.
Nothing I would know.
They're obviously like gimmick.
Kami, maybe mas malalaking isda nila.
Đấy, 500円。
ไก่เส้น
해야죠. Do you see some with the dolphins? The dolphins?